Well, Happy New Year, everyone. This is the beginning of the Board of Finance meeting for the town of Deep River on January 6th at 7 o'clock. Okay, let's start with the roll call. Catherine Russell,
Here.
Carmela Balducci,
Here.
Jacqueline
Calamari. Here.
Barry Luff,
Here.
Mike Welgarts is not here today, and of course I'm here. Okay, so we have a quorum. All right, first thing on the list is approval for the minutes for the regular meeting held on November 25th.
So moved. Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Okay, that passed. The next one is approved minutes from special meeting held on December 10th, 2025.
So moved. I didn't see them.
Second.
They're not posted.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
They are?
I can forward them to you.
They
That'd be
were.
great, because
Okay.
I looked
So I had
tonight.
a motion
And a
from-
second.
and a second.
They're on the website?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any against? And Catherine, are you abstaining?
I'm going to abstain because I didn't see them.
And one abstain.
Thank you.
Okay, that passed. Okay, audience of citizens. Any citizens here today? No, I see none, so we'll move forward to Tom, Treasurer's Report. First of all, how you feeling, Tom?
Yeah, much better. It was a long haul.
Yeah, I know that
3
feeling.
weeks, almost a month, but, starting to feel better. Thank you. Kind of went through the family.
All right.
How do you feel?
Yeah, similar to you. I didn't go quite as long as you, but I'm feeling human now.
Your ATG.
So I passed out actually the financial summary report from December 23rd and also the town deposit report from the same date. We'll be having our next meeting, I guess, on February 27th, so we got another 3 weeks. So this isn't up to date, but, I will go over some things that might have occurred since the 23rd, just to let everyone know. So we'll start off with actually the balances. These are the general fund balances. You'll see that where we were last month and where we are, or were as of December 22nd. When we minus out the capital improvements borrow, you'll see that our net negative amount was $1,562,829.89. As far as rate changes, the Federal Reserve reduced their rates by another 25 basis points on December 10th. And this is the third reduction of 25 basis points since September. Rates had been reduced on September 17th and again on October 29th. One thing I did want to change here is with Ascend Bank. They dropped their rates again. That was on December 23rd, so it was a day after I had done this report. And they went from 3.75 down to 3.5.
Wow.
So when that happened, I actually went to Ascend Bank. We had a wire transfer that was done. And you'll see it on here. Well, you won't see it on here, but I'll report it under our wire transfers. I took $1 million and from Ascend Bank to Liberty Bank, so we get the 4% rate rather than the 3.5%. The capital improvements borrow on number 3. There are no disbursements to date as of December 22nd or 23rd. Just shows you where we are as far as our balance, and we earned interest of about $1,153.63 for that particular month. And the highest rate that we can receive on that is 3%. It's the highest allowable because the funds are being borrowed from loan proceeds, and it's just a holding account until disbursements are made.
Tom, let's pause here for 1 second.
Yeah.
I know you've been really busy. Any update on that? Okay. All right, I was just asking on the 460. And
I was just going to ask,
Paula just said she hasn't gotten to it yet, so when she does, we'll get a report from her.
The ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan account, As of December 22nd, the balance, remaining balance is $214,758.22. That amount has been committed, but it hadn't been dispersed. And I know we're, I guess by year end, those monies have all supposed to have been allocated for or whatever.
What was it, is it this year,
Yes.
in 2026?
Yes,
Not
December 26th.
Yeah, so we got a whole year.
Do we know who,
December 26th or the end
no,
of?
December 26th, the end of
I thought it
this
was the end
year?
of this year that we had
Oh,
to.
I
Yes,
thought it was
26.
last year.
No, not 25,
You know, I
26.
remember, well, in the last meeting, I remember Carol saying it was 2026.
Yes, yes, it is 2026.
Wow.
Okay.
Tom, do we know who has not taken their disbursements from that yet?
I don't know that. I apologize.
I can get that report along with the other one.
Okay.
Okay. And again, wire transfers, there were 3 that were done between 11/24 and 12/23. And they all went from Liberty Bank Money Market into the Citizens Bank General Fund account. There was $1,800,000 that was wired. And I've done 2 wires since that time. I just told you about the wire that went from Ascend Bank to Liberty Bank on December 30th, and there was another on January 5th. I transferred $1 million from Citizens Bank General Fund to Liberty Bank, since we're getting a lot of monies coming in for, tax revenues. So,
And you picked Liberty for the same reason, the higher rate.
higher rate, yes.
Carol, we just talked about ARPA, just for clarity, I think we're all clear on it. We have to spend that by December of this year, 2026, not last year. Okay, that's what we thought, thank you.
ECS monies, Education Equalization Grant monies, for fiscal year 7/1/25 to 6/30/26, our total allocation is $1,654,405. We did receive our first installment, which is a quarter of that amount, on October 31st. It was $413,601.25. We'll receive the second installment at the end of this month in the same amount, another quarter. And then the third installment, the last installment, will be on April 30th, and that will be for half of that amount. And if you look at our total balances, where we stand after we take out the capital improvements borrow and the ARPA funds, we compare it to last month, there was a difference, a negative amount of $1,495,8138. Short-term investments, again, this was for last month. You budgeted $150,000 for the fiscal year. Year-to-date interest earned as of December 22nd, 6 months, was $114,710.86. That would be 76.5% of the monies we have received. And so we still need $35,289.14 to reach our goal of $150,000, but we have a few months to do that. Hopefully the rates won't tank. And bond payments, this would include pretty much for the month of December. There was the Kirtland River Street Sewer Project. There were 2, and you'll see the first one actually still remains $2,489,865. There were 10 annual payments made out of 40, so we still have 30 payments to go. That comes automatically out of our general fund account, Citizens Bank. And you'll see what the original cost was, and which included the interest amount for a total of $4,735,020. It was at 2.625% fixed rate, again, for 40 years. The payment amount, principal and interest payment on that was $118,379. If you look at the second sewer project, and they're both with the USDA, that one was for $144,000 originally. That's down to $123,209. Again, 10 annual payments have been made, with 30 remaining. That one is $5,858 principal and interest. And again, same term, same rate, fixed rate. And then the last one is our sewer construction bond for the Clean Water Fund. Again, that's with USDA also. We only have 4 payments remaining on that. So when we made the payment at the end of December, our balance, our remaining balance is $67,378.08. That was originally for 20 years, so we've only got, we'll have 4 payments remaining. That'll be over in April. So it'll free up $16,914.76 each month. So something to work with there. Other notes, we do have a meeting that's scheduled for this Thursday, January 8th, at 2:30, with Jeremy Sobleski. He's a senior VP and retirement plan specialist at Ivy Wealth Management. We have sent out notification to whoever's going to be present, as far as who's going to represent the town employees, who's going to represent the firefighters, and the Board of Selectmen. Certainly it's open to any of the board members that want to come from the Board of Finance. I know Tim is coming. Certainly, we'd love to have as many people as we can. And I know Paula is coming. So again, that's open to anybody. And again, it's at 2:30 this Thursday here in the town hall. So I think that's about it.
Is that an annual meeting, or do we?
No, actually, we should be doing it either like 3 or 4 times a year, so hopefully we'll set that up. Since, the beginning of this year, we can set that up with Jeremy, either on a schedule of, quarterly or,
Quarterly makes sense. I mean, I might pass life.
Yep, that's fine, we can do that.
Just as an aside, this is a super way of reporting. Thanks. I really like this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have done a lot.
It's very
lot sooner.
specific, it's
Yeah.
very detailed.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, very helpful.
One other thing that is coming up is that with Liberty Bank, we're setting up online so that Jackie, you'll have access to statements for the Community Health Committee. I've also sent information to Scott Connor as the treasurer of the WPCA, so that he'll be set up that way too, as well as Paula and Tara, and they'll have access to all of the history and the balances and statements that they want. So hopefully that's in the next day or two. We're going to start off with Jackie early in the morning to get her set up. So that's it.
The other thing, Liberty Bank has a nice app for your phone too, so you might want to look at that. It's very useful.
So I don't know if anyone else has any questions.
Any questions for Tom? I have one. I don't know if it's a question for Tom or Paula. In the budget reports, there's a line item called interest payments, SCG payment, $25,000. Does that ring a bell?
Southern Connecticut Gas, I believe, isn't it?
It's listed, it's page 11.
I thought it was.
I didn't send the question because I thought it might have been. But it's just interest payments.
What page was that, Tim?
Page 11.
Oh, yeah, that's Southern Connecticut Gas.
And it's listed, is that just a wrong heading, interest payments? That's why I thought it was Tom.
The category.
The category, it says interest payment. So that's not interest payment, that's a Southern Connecticut Gas. And is that a quarterly payment or one annual payment or what?
It's an
It was an annual payment.
Okay.
I have a copy. Thank you.
All right, then that's not you, Tom, sorry.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. All right, if no questions for Tom, we'll move on to our next agenda item, recommendations of selectmen and action on recommendations. So that would be,
Well,
Carolyn?
you and I talked, because I didn't know if I'd be here at that Board of Ed meeting tonight.
Yep.
So I gave you kind of a couple things that we were talking about. One other thing came up that I forgot to mention. The fire marshal would like to transfer some money from his line to his assistant's line. Because he wants the assistant fire marshal to have more hours. And I guess his load right now is pretty heavy, our fire marshal. So he mentioned it to Paula and I, and I don't think it should be an issue because he doesn't anticipate going over any lines. He
yeah,
just
just wants to transfer.
wants to transfer some.
Does he know how much? Or Paula, you could probably contact and,
Yeah. I
Could
can
you
find
give
out.
us a number, was it sort of half of his or something?
let's see. Fire marshal. It's got 23,000 in the fire marshal, and deputy has 3,600, so,
I kind of remember him saying 5,000, but I can't, we don't know, we
yeah.
can
Well,
confirm that, but.
That seems, we can move 5, and then if he needs more, we can reach back out. You can do that, Paul, all right?
Sure, yeah.
Do we, I don't know if we need, and I don't think we need a motion for, do we need a motion? For transferring, it's not increasing the budget, so I would say no motion is required, this is just
I
a,
mean,
Yeah.
you, as your board, you have the ability to move.
yeah,
You know,
no, I think that's more of an administrative
Yeah.
function, so Paula, you can do that.
Sure.
Okay,
And then I just mentioned to you, we're gonna have an expense of a new computer and keyboard monitor for the new assistant that we're getting up in the finance office. So that was something not originally in our budget, but at this point, we might be able to find a place that it'll fit, other than town hall or office supplies or something. But that might be something that comes up if we're over, you know.
okay,
I was just gonna tell them, at our last Board of Finance meeting, there was discussion about the building inspector and being over and under.
Yeah,
Carol and I had a discussion with him right before the holiday, and we asked him to come to a Board of Finance meeting to explain how it all works, whether it's now or a budget workshop, so everyone knows.
good.
Let him explain it versus me or Carol, and how it all works.
We have him for the budget workshop, we have him scheduled for, let's see, March 17th. So either way, you
Okay.
can either do that or earlier. But
But just
good.
I want to let you know that we did have a conversation with him, trying to figure out how it all
Yeah,
tied together, and when Valley Regional Region 4, are they paying him, or are we paying him? So just let him explain it.
perfect, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anything else?
Not that I can recall, but again, you and I spoke, so
Yeah.
do you have any other little notes?
Yeah, well, there's a couple, but they're on the agenda, so I'll wait until they get to
Okay,
the
that's
agenda to
fine,
talk
yeah.
about them. All right, the next item is review request from P and Z Enforcement Office additional hours. So Tony Baldock, the chair of the planning and zoning, put in a request and sent us a memo requesting that the enforcement officer, Zoe, who today, she comes in 8 hours a week, and we pay her for 8 hours a week. And he's looking to increase that to 16 hours a week because of her current workload, and she's gotten a lot of requests for Freedom of Information Act that has required a lot of hours to research. So after talking with Carol, and I talked to Tony, and I also talked to Zoe, a couple of things. And I talked to the company that we hire Zoe through. So number one, in order to do 8 more hours a week, the company would charge us $130 an hour. And that translates to about $52,000 annually. So that's a pretty big increase, because currently we pay them about $52,000, so that would double the amount.
Right.
So after talking with Carol and Tony, we talked about what's the real issue, and one of the issues is when they moved offices, they boxed up all of the files. You know this from finance. They boxed up all the files and they just stuck them up there. So when you have to do research, you're digging through boxes and boxes, and you probably can relate to this. One of the suggestions that came up after we had these discussions is why not give Zoe some admin assistant support for a couple of months to clean up all those files. And as you know, we reached out to a temporary agency for help on the finance area. At the same time, I asked, what would you charge us for an admin assistant? And the answer was about $25 an hour. So I guess my suggestion, and Carol and Tony, I won't speak for Carol, but I think everybody's in line, is let's see if we can have an admin assistant work up there for about a month or 2 months to get all the files straightened out, and then step back and say, okay, how's it running now? And that certainly would be much more cost efficient than throwing $50,000, a high-paid person to open files and put them in a filing cabinet, so.
Tony was fine with that?
Yeah, he was fine with that. There was no pushback at all. I think once everybody starts seeing $130 an hour, 8 hours times 52 weeks, it's a big chunk. We don't want to spend that kind of money for the type of work that may be more admin related. So that's the background. So I'll open it up to discussion.
I'm really glad you dug into it a bit, Tim.
Yeah.
That makes quite a difference in the
Yeah.
cost.
Thank you.
I think we
So-
should give her the support.
Yeah.
It's needed. The only question I have, will there be enough hours? There was some discussion in a meeting we were in together about her needing more time in the field for enforcement. Is that still an open issue, or will this, do we think, give her enough time to do that?
I think she still needs more time to be in the field, but right now she's getting so many freedom of information. And she's getting a lot of requests for documentation, and she just can't keep up with the current load and then dig through because it's boxes. It's not fun, so I think this is a good place to start to kind of help her keep her head above water a little bit, and then
Could you give us a little history of how we got to be where we are? Because I know, was it Kathy Jefferson was the zoning enforcement officer? Was she full-time or part-time? She was more than 8 hours a week, was she?
Yeah, she was a couple days a week, I believe.
And so how did we go to hiring an outside consultant at 130 an hour? Could we not go back to getting more hours at a less cost? Or there's just nobody out there that does that job?
well, it was under a different administration,
Right.
but
Oh, yeah,
how
I-
it's been explained to me is that, one, building inspectors are very hard to find, but also with Tyke, you get a whole planning back, you get kind of a deep bench, if you will. They have a lot of planners on staff, so we're getting a lot of people behind our actual person in the office for the depth, and then we needed to do our plan of conservation and development is coming up, so I think it was very, it looked very favorable to kind of get this big planning machine. And the other tri-town area, neighbors also contract with the same company. So there's that continuation of planning for the region, there was a lot of that going on.
I think if we ever got to the point where it was another 8 hours, we were talking about over 100,000 a year, then I think we would all step back and say, are there any other solutions for 100,000, rather than get 16 hours. But for now, I think just getting it organized and stepping back and then say, does she have more time to do zoning enforcement? And we'll probably have to revisit it. But.
And the difference in price is considerable. What you'd be paying someone to do that kind of work, if what she's doing is going through boxes and looking for information, categorizing whatever, putting it in files, see how it works out, and if it doesn't work, then go back and
Because
discuss.
we're talking about 20 hours to 25 hours a week. So, if we commit to a month or two, it's $4,000 versus $52,000.
Yeah.
So I think we just need some kind of motion to move forward if everybody.
I move that we engage temporary help for our zoning enforcement officer, and at the rate of $25 an hour, and move forward to do this for 6 weeks.
How many hours a week? Don't have that so much, I'm sorry.
At,
I would say no more than 25 hours a week.
For how long? 6 weeks?
Well, that's the motion that's on the table now. Does anybody
Is
want
that
to
what
amend
you
it?
said?
is that long enough? I mean, we can amend it.
Yeah.
2 months?
Yeah, I'm thinking 2 months.
For 2 months with reassessment at the end of that time for the consideration of extension.
Can we modify that a tad? I know I'm not officially on your board, but just up to $25 an hour, and do we have to be locked into the temporary agency? Because there are some people that are known amongst town hall, people, people looking for a quick little job, maybe they want to come in and do some filing, but they're not through the temporary agency.
I don't
Is
think
that-
your motion said temporary agency, just a temporary help.
Right.
Temporary help. Yeah, I think
So,
that's
yeah.
fine.
Okay, so we're not locked in.
And the other thing is,
$25
if we do go through the temporary agency, I just want to make sure it's clear, it's $25.98, so maybe just make it $26, just to cover that if we do use them.
Do you want to amend that before somebody seconds it?
Up to $26.
Okay, so you have that motion?
Yeah, motion to engage temporary help for zoning enforcement officer at the rate of up to $26 an hour for 2 months of 25 hours a week to be reevaluated at the end of the term.
Okay.
Second it.
All right, we have a second? All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Any against? Okay, that passed. Beautiful. So who will, I didn't ask this question, who will look for that person? Because it's one thing to contact a temporary agency, that's easy, but is it with the selectmen now? Or,
Yeah, I was talking to Loretta about it actually after we spoke, so
Yeah.
we'll come up with kind of a job description, talk to Zoe tomorrow, and
okay,
then tweak it and see if we can advertise it in-house first, and then, if we don't have any bites, we'll put it through the temp agency.
okay, so if you need my help, just holler.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, next up is update on 25-26 financing. So we've been working on, I'll say Paula has done a lot of work on the funding document for the short-term loan and the bonds. And as, this is the right topic, right? Yeah. So we've moved forward with that document to the bonding agency to look at, and they shared it with several banks, and no new comment. Usually the banks look at it and say, we like this kind of information, that kind of information. So very few comments. We do have some more updates to documents that need to happen from a general standpoint. Carol, I don't know if you had an opportunity. We have to update the description of the town, and then the description of our governance. I don't know if that's done or.
I'm gonna send you what I have. I've tweaked it several times. It's still open on my computer. Revisit it daily
Yeah.
and tweak something.
So bottom line is we're on track for February because we need to hit the February date for the fire truck payment. Any questions on that? And thanks for Paula, that was a lot of work that you put in. Sometimes we get the emails from Paula at 9 at night, so just for the record.
Yeah, and Sunday, 9 at night.
Yeah.
All right, update to alternate to current ADM measurement working group. Jackie, you want to give us any kind of update on that?
So I think the group has pretty much decided we're going to meet one more time, but that we're going to turn most of the data we have over to the finance committee. Now that they've formed, the 4 different committees have formed, is we'll give them that information. But the bottom line really is that if we did a 5-year rolling average, it would hurt Deep River tremendously, and Essex a little bit, and Chester would win. If we go with, they finally heard us about looking at it from a grand list perspective, but that doubles what Essex would pay and really benefit Chester and Deep River. So there's no good answer to ADM except what we're doing now.
Yeah.
That won't hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So I think now it's just left up to the finance group of those 4 subcommittees to go from there and figure out next steps. But we will be meeting one more time into January, just sort of to regroup and see if we still feel the same way. But in my mind, it was a really great group to get together, to have all 3 boards of finance getting together and talking. I mean, I think just that in itself was worthwhile.
Yeah, I agree.
So-
It was good for me to get to know
Yes.
the Cheshire folks and the Essex folks. And I thought the grand list was eye-opening,
Oh, yeah.
right? You know, Essex looked at that and swooped.
It would have been really great for Deep River. And it truly is the fairest way, when you think about it, is you base it on the grand list. But unfortunately, since our forebears did not choose to do it that way 70 years ago. I doubt that it's gonna happen now, so, but it's worth visiting.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers in front of me, but it was something like, the average home in Deep River was like 280,000. In Chester, it was like 411, and in Essex,
It was
it's
like a million.
1.2 million.
Wow.
So that's,
Their grand list is twice
That's the
what
difference.
Chester and Deep Rivers
Yeah.
are combined.
yeah, it was interesting.
So,
No wonder our budget always gets kicked out when we vote against it, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so,
They know what they have.
yeah.
They don't care. Who cares when you have that much money to go on? Wow.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, there was no easy solution.
No.
So it stays the same?
Stays the same for now. But hopefully these 4 groups that are starting to meet will come up with some kind of plan, because you've got the governance, the school consolidation, the finance, and then education groups.
How's the
So,
consolidation issue going?
they haven't even met yet.
Oh,
Tomorrow night, I think it's the first night, meeting, I think.
How are they reporting out on those? Is there through?
Well, I'm on one of them, so I'm happy to report here on mine, which is governance. I
I
believe
think that's all gonna be determined, because
Yeah.
their official first meetings, they're gonna elect a chair and then decide.
Yeah. Those will be interesting, because to your point, that's gonna be the most impactful if they can figure out a solution. But, it's amusing. Okay, any questions on the ADM? Okay, update on WPCA financial support. Carol signed the agreement with the temporary agency. And we got 2 resumes so far at the beginning of the week here. Actually, one last week and one just yesterday.
One Friday, one today.
Paul is gonna look at those, and the nice thing about temporary agency is as long as they have the minimum requirements, you don't have to worry about bringing them in and then, oh, I made a mistake, because if they don't work out, you just call the temporary agency, so. Unless, Paul, if you need some help with looking at those resumes, I'm happy to, but.
I don't mind looking at them, but if you want to look also, yeah, I'll take your input. But yeah, I'm excited to look them over and
Yeah, and then get you some
see
help,
what we have, yes.
so. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, Paula, update on timing of 24-25 year end?
So we have to move forward, obviously. Even with the budget, I had to put numbers in for 24-25. I will just say that the auditors are planning on starting the end of February. So that's the schedule.
They still have to come in-house for a number of days, take over.
Oh, yeah,
conference
they
room.
always, yep, that's
Okay.
typical. Yeah, that's typical.
Well, I thought with the new program, at some point, I thought I was told that they could do a lot of it
That's true.
online now.
They could remote in, you're right. If we give them
Okay.
access, they can remote in, they can see, they'll be able to see half of the year, they can't see the first half of the year. No details, yeah, so they'll need to come in, yeah,
End of February, you said, or beginning of
end
February?
of February,
End.
yep. Yes, so eventually, when the whole year, this next year we're working on, they'll be able to get in and do most of it remotely.
Okay. All right, any questions for Paula? All right, item number 12, 26-27 Board of Finance schedule and budget process. So first, at our last meeting, I sent out a schedule for our meetings for 2026, and recommendations were made, I can't remember who, but recommendations were made to move the budget workshop meetings earlier. So we chose, I sat down with Carol on these 2. We added the dates February, you should have all got this, by the way, in your
Yep.
emails. We added the workshop dates of February 3rd, 10th, 17th, March 3rd, March 10th, March 17th, and March 31st. And then Carol either is or did sent out this memo. You're going to send out this memo?
It went out.
Oh, it went out. And on it mirrors our budget workshop dates with each budget manager and what date they need to present to this board and to the selectmen on the budget.
Where did that go to? I don't have any of that stuff.
Department heads?
Which department heads?
Yeah.
Can you share copies with us?
Yeah, and like, well, Carol, can you CC me on or send it, and so I can send it to, or you can send it to the broader group, either way, it doesn't
I'll
matter.
send it to you. I don't know if I have it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we worked on this together. The three of us, there's templates that went out to every budget manager that shows 24, 25 actuals, 25, 26 year-to-date, 27, 28, what they're requesting, and a notes section. So the expectation is they'll fill those out and send them to Carol by, I think it's February 3rd. And then we'll consolidate them, and then the budget owners will come here and present. In between that, we'll work together and review it in advance of the meeting.
I like that.
So, yeah, it's I feel good about it. I mean, I didn't know the process here, and now I do, so.
Tim, we had spoken about possibly,
What?
That memo goes out every year, that just asks all the departments to come.
With all those requests.
You know, the fire department and the park and rec and all those, yeah.
we had spoken at the last meeting about possibly having a gathering of the various, our representatives to the various boards for the Board of Education expenses, and combining it with some of the Board of Finance people so that we'd all get on the same page. Any progress on that?
Yeah, that's probably more of that's a question for you, Carol, because I know there's a joint meeting that was set up with the first selectman of Chester, and you in Chester, me and the first selectman, or the finance board, where we were going to talk about the Board of Education. Yeah, so.
But as far as getting the Board of Ed reps all in one room, I think that would be considered a meeting, so we'd have to post, they'd have to post it or something, I was told.
I just thought we left the last meeting with the assumption that that was going to happen. I'm just checking on, is it going to happen?
Yeah, well, we're going to have a meeting
Do we need it?
with the select person in Chester and with the Board of Finance, and we're going to have that kind of strategy discussion, I think. And what comes out of that, I'm not,
I think.
it may be that, it may not.
And then reaching out individually to Board of
Yeah.
Ed people, but not having them all in one room,
Mhm.
because then it would be a meeting. Board of
Or
Ed.
maybe just the board chairs, but we're going to talk, and I don't remember the date on that meeting, is it next week?
Next week,
Yeah.
14th, I think.
It's next week? I thought it was in the 20s. Okay.
I could be wrong, I thought it was 14th.
Yeah, let's see,
I could be wrong.
I think it's the 14th.
I'm always wrong, just ask my wife.
Yeah, school system evaluation, I think it's called. Let's see who's on that. Yeah, it is, it is, and it's the Chester first selectman, and I think that maybe the second selectman, I don't see the names here. And
Yeah.
so it's all three, it's all three on both
Boards of
sides.
Selectmen from Chester,
And then
and then Tim is
and
included,
Bo-
so Board of Finance
Yeah,
chairs.
and John Chelak, who's the Board of Finance for
Yeah.
Chester, so, yeah, it's, so that's
To
what came
do
out of it.
what? What are you meeting for? To do what?
I think it's just to sort of plan our strategy for what our message wants to be to our Board of Ed members.
Yeah,
And then we would reach out, Board of Selectmen would reach out to our Board of Ed members, but not necessarily have a meeting with them, because then we'd have to post as a Board of Ed meeting or something.
so all these boards of finance are having their own individual meetings for budgeting.
Right, you had
And-
requested that people who could go to the meetings, go to the
Yeah.
meetings, but
I have an update on that too,
Okay.
so hang
The
on.
Board of
So the intent was, you know, maybe we can help guide the Board of Finance, or Board of Ed, during these budgeting processes.
I think it's also to share kind of what, maybe some of the hurdles that Chester has this year with their budget, and then we can share sort of our issues, where we're going out for bonding for the firehouse, you know, different
Yeah.
things like that. And
Kind of educate them.
yeah, I
as to what-
think it was just,
what-
I mean,
what the
first
towns are up
selectman
against.
Chester called the meeting.
And you're not including Essex?
She
Did not
did not
understand.
include Essex.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, that
Did you
was,
guys reach out and they just weren't interested?
again, the first selectman in Chester called the
Oh,
meeting,
yeah.
so
Yeah, it was,
I don't know if that was her intent, and then, you know.
yeah, I think it was more like, the Deep River and Chester's challenges are a little different than Essex's, and that's
Yeah.
really what drove it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, but now with the
Something
task
different
force
in
is
housing that is.
Yeah, for obvious reasons. So, and to continue on this budget line item that we're discussing here, Carol, I, and Katie went to the first supervisory district budget meeting, and that was, let's see,
December 18th.
it was, yeah, there it is, December 18th, where what's it, Brian White, is that his name?
Yep.
The supervisor presented their first cut at what their request, basically. And their request was an increase of $997,000 just for the supervisory budget. But what's interesting, the supervisory budget is currently 16,016,500, and they're looking to make it 17,500 for this next fiscal year. But what I found really interesting is, so Carol was there, I was there, Catherine was there. That was it as far as representation from our town. But what was surprising is there was no representation from Chester, and there was no representation from Essex. Of course, the board was there, but I found it pretty amazing that, you know, kind of in isolation, they're talking about a $16 million budget and only increasing it by $1 million. But, you know, we all spoke about, you know, our opinions on it. So I'm just sharing this as information to the folks who weren't there. And half of the increase is, it's already baked because it's the increase in the teacher salaries of 4.8%. That's $350,000, and then the health insurance associated with that is $100,000. The big increases that they're looking for are 5 full-time special education, I'll call them teachers, for a total of $560,000. That was a shocking one to me because population is going down. But you know, I think the more of us that go to these meetings, the next supervisory meeting is
January 13th.
January 13th.
You know, it was interesting at that meeting, I know I asked, so you want 2 full-time special ed teachers and the additional, I don't know if they're paras or whatever. With those extra, with holding the total population steady, will you be cutting some of the others and maybe changing the class size? And no is the answer. And I think what I'd love to see them do is, if the population base is changing, whereas they need additional special education, I'd like to see them try to approach the overall education in a way that we're meeting the needs but holding the cost down. But there doesn't seem to be a willingness to make those adjustments.
Unless there's some pressure applied from somewhere, which is.
Which would be great.
Non-existent, pretty much.
Well, yeah. Well, there's us. but-
Well,
The question should be, and I wasn't there, and we can't go next because we have a selectmen's meeting, but the question should be, is they want to hire these new teachers, but are they taking them from the elementary school budgets or the Region 4 budgets like they did last year? Last year, the supervision district went up significantly because they took people out of the smaller budgets and put them into that. And I think Brian explained it to us when he came, where now these individuals can work at all the schools.
Yeah.
So that would be my question. If there are 5 brand-new employees added on,
Yeah, that's what they.
It's a different story.
That's what it is.
Okay.
They
But so that's
they
another-
were very clear about that.
okay,
They're specialized, certified special education teachers.
correct, but are they working at Deep Elementary School or Chester Elementary School?
this
No.
is
Okay,
going
so
out
that's-
and finding, yeah.
above and beyond.
And the other thing I asked for I'll call them the professionals afterwards when we broke up, was just a basic question. If class sizes are going down from like 25 down to 15, then isn't there another way to look at special ed when you have such small classes? Can't you, you know, when special ed is going up 35, 40%, can't you keep some of those kids in the class? I'm not a professional, but that was one of the questions I asked, is aren't there any different solutions?
Well, they're in the class. I asked Brian, he said they're in the class and then they're called out to get the special. So it's not like you're reducing this at the moment, but, so that stays, their head count is in the class and then maybe they come out from 10 to 11:30 and get this special math coaching, or come out from 2 to 4 and get special behavioral
That's
coaching.
what I was trying to say is out of all, that 40% increase, do they all need that kind of special ed where they get out of the class when there's a teacher there with only 15 kids? Can't that teacher spend a little more attention to, I don't know.
It's a good question.
So-
I'm wondering how we get them to consider that more.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There are other solutions. I'm not an educational, expert, but there's got to be other solutions, But this is probably not the.
I think too, with people not attending the meetings, like the supervisory district meeting, and then the regional board meeting, and then the Deep River board meetings on budgeting, is perhaps that people don't understand the function of each one of those. Supervisory suggests that it's someone who's looking over the operations of everything else, and you're just saying it's not. They're hiring 5 new.
I didn't say that,
No,
that was my question.
Right,
Yeah,
they're
they
gonna
are.
hire 5 new people. That doesn't seem to be supervising.
Yeah, no, they moved a lot of teachers to the supervisory district. The reason they did it made sense, because they said, when you have, let's say, an art teacher, and that art teacher is in Deep River Elementary, and you need that art teacher to go to Chester because there's an opening, they couldn't just move that person. When those people are up in the supervisory, they can move to where they need them, as opposed to like having to lay someone off at one and hire someone else somewhere else. So it gave them a lot more flexibility. I understood that.
It's
But-
just like, you like to see a correlation. If they're gonna add on a supervision district, then they're gonna take it, then our budget would drop somewhere else. And it doesn't ever seem to correlate. Like last year, they raised it 16 or 18% supervising. And then Deep River Elementary, they're still asking for 6% rate, increase.
I think the
It was
bigger
like-
issue though too is the fact that how many members are voting on that $17 million budget?
Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't go to referendum, it doesn't go to a town vote, it's voted on by less than 33 members.
Yeah, if that, I think
If
it's.
that, I think it's like now down to about
6 or 8 or
6
something
or
like
8
that,
people
yeah,
are
yeah.
deciding on that $17 million.
And is it administrative costs that are encumbered there
So all of
also?
the,
Are there
yes.
more secretaries, there are more people dealing with schedules and whatever, other than people who are in classrooms? What does the supervisory district do?
So the supervision district is the people that work for all 3 towns. So it's the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, the pupil services.
Finance, pupil services, school buses, they all fall underneath the supervision district budget.
In
Everything
addition to
starts
that-
up here.
In addition to that are the teachers that are more art, music.
Most of the paraeducators.
The way they had it before, Carmela, just quick, is if you were a paraeducator at Deep River Elementary School, and they only needed you 3 days.
2 hours.
3 days a week,
Okay.
whatever it may be. That's all. But we're paying for you full-time. But now, when you're in the supervision district, they can say, Carmela, you work 3 days in Deep River, and you go to Chester for a day, maybe go to Essex for a day.
Yeah.
Now you're floating around. Because right now, Deep River is an employer, Chester's an employer, Essex is an employer, Region 4 is an employer. So you can't work for all different companies, basically companies. So moving into the supervision district is a smart idea,
Yeah,
but when this goes up, this should go down.
yeah.
Well, this is going up and this is going up, that's when there's an issue.
Yeah, it's kind of 2 separate issues. It's a great idea consolidating, but who's putting pressure on the budgeting process to reduce costs? And I didn't see a lot of people in that room who were pushing, in that board, pushing the.
I saw Ricky
challenge
Daniels,
costs.
Carol Jones, Tim Puglielli, and Catherine Russell.
Yeah, but we're not,
But,
we're, in that case, we're the audience.
We're not voting.
Yeah, except for
I also
Ricky.
wonder if our DRES reps, not just ours, but from the other elementary schools as well, had the information or the background to fight.
Good point.
That was why I'm so interested in our having a meeting where we were able to talk to them about what our goals were and what the town could bear financially. Because I think they needed maybe a little more prep or a little more encouragement or a little more backbone to speak out a bit more at that meeting. It did not feel like a robust discussion of the proposal. To be fair, they'd only seen it that night, so maybe there will be
Yeah.
much more at the next meeting. But it is, to your point, so much money.
Yeah, yeah. And as the supervisory district, Brian White, I mean, he doesn't want, he wants to do a good job, obviously, but there's no incentive for him to say, I'm gonna reduce cost by $2 million. It's that board that really needs to put pressure on him to do it. He's not gonna do it on his own. Nobody would in that position.
Well, I think each individual board kind of really acts in such a vacuum, you
Yeah.
know? Essex Elementary has their meeting, Deep River Elementary, and I think it's sort of trying to get people educated in how it works. Like
Right.
the supervision district, if you don't pay attention and you blink, it's voted on by the end of January, it's locked in,
Right.
basically, even though they can reopen it. I don't know, I can't remember the last year they reopened that supervision district, and I've been here 31 years, so.
Been at least.
They keep saying, well, it could be reopened, but tell me when the last time it was reopened. You know, it's usually locked in, and then that's it, everybody has to eat.
And I think, again, it goes back to education. People don't understand where those costs and charges are going. They just look at it, okay, this is an education for my kid or my grandchildren or whatever, and I want the best for them, but they don't understand what's happening underneath it all, how it's all engineered.
Most people's lives are so busy, they're not going to those meetings. It's a reality.
But that's where we elected them to represent
Yeah.
the people of Deep River as well as the students. So it's a conversation with our Board of Ed members too, to say, this is the reality. If you approve this, this is what it's gonna do to our mill rate. This is what it's gonna do to the taxes in Deep River.
Right.
And I mean, I think that's important that they know that.
And that was.
Because while it would be very nice to have 5 more teachers, is that like a platinum plan that we really need? And none of us know that answer.
And that's where, Chester and Deep River getting together for that meeting, the intent was to try and figure out a way to communicate that to so, we'll see. Okay.
The real thing that's upsetting is our boards, Chester, Essex, spend all this time putting together these budgets for the referendum for Region 4, and there's, 500 people?
Right.
600 people voting on a $20-some million? That's, whether you vote yes, whether you vote no.
Vote.
That's very,
Well,
that's
look what happens with
upsetting.
our Board of Finance budgets when it goes before the
Yep.
town.
Yep.
Do we have 4,300 people or whatever coming out to vote for it or against it?
Yeah.
Maybe lucky we have 200 or 300 people who come out.
But a couple months later, then they'll come to a selectmen's meeting or a board of finance meeting and say, my taxes are going up or this or that. You had the opportunity to come and exercise your right, whether you're for it or whether you're against it. It's depressing. You spend a lot of time putting these budgets together.
Carol and I sent to our local newspaper just would you consider this story of educating the public on how complex our Board of Ed budgeting process is? And I sent that to, what's the
Christian
local-
Mulder.
Yeah. Didn't hear anything from him. It's a complex story and he may not want to deal with it.
Shocking.
Over his head.
We gotta get the town right.
I know. Yeah, I saw that
It's an article.
Yeah. Chester sets up a new after-school program.
That's it.
And like, I thought they already did
Yeah,
that. Didn't
wow,
we
they
do
did it too?
Yeah, it's like, it's Deep River.
They're right
Oh.
up on us.
So I didn't have much hope that they would write that story. Okay, so before we move on to budget, I'm gonna publish this with our town clerk, the schedule.
Yeah, I saw
Is
that.
everybody okay with it?
Yes. I'm sorry, what is that?
That's our meeting schedule for this year.
Good.
And I sent it out to everybody in email, so I'm gonna publish it. Okay. And the next item is reviewing our budget. We, 1 or 2 meetings ago, went through in extreme detail. We don't need to go through it in that much detail today. I went through it. I had a couple of questions for Paula that she answered. I'll share those with you. If anybody else has any line items that they're interested in talking about, so I'm gonna move rather quickly through it, but stop and raise your hand if you wanna stop or anything. And I'm using the 1231 report that Paula just sent out yesterday. If you got the older December report, there's not much of a difference on it, so I wouldn't worry. All right, going through it, the first question I had on revenue was, we're charging a WPCA debt reimbursement of 100,000, and my question was, when do we bill them? Paula said last year we billed them in February, so we'll bill them again in February? Okay, so
But they
that,
didn't pay us till when, November or December?
well, I don't know. I don't know.
It was
Well, I'll
late.
check. It was late.
It was late.
They fought it at a couple of meetings, remember, they tried
Yeah.
to make a motion to take it back, and
Oh, it's
Sorry.
funny because they now want to give more, so it's
Yeah.
whole new, yeah.
a whole different
Yeah.
world, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, well, that was actually my kind of related question, because this is tied to the sewer one that we're gonna pay off, the sewer bond we're gonna pay off, right? The debt for the WPCA of $100,000 that they're paying us is
Oh,
in
yes.
relation to the sewer construction bond, correct?
That interest charge comes out of that as part of it, yes.
Yeah. And we're paying that off this year, correct? Will we be able to continue
16th,
charging
or-
them next year for like Kirkland River Street sewer
I
project?
always wondered that too.
Yeah.
I don't think
Why, what was the difference?
Right.
They're sewer projects, do we know?
I thought Scott explained it to us when we had that meeting upstairs there a few months ago.
so. You know, it was
I
like,
didn't
what was
quite
the-
understand it.
Well, why don't we do this, we'll invoice them, get that, and then we'll reach out to Scott and say, hey, we're doing our budget, can we count on you to pay for the interest on the Kirkland project? And see what his answer is.
Now, on their agenda for the next meeting, they're discussing possible sewer expansion projects. So there may be come a time in the future where there's a debt obligation incurred and more interest costs.
Yeah, so during that, we need to talk about how they're gonna reimburse us for those too then, I would think.
No, we haven't
Interest.
incurred them yet, but
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Contact Scott, WPCA. Kirkland.
I don't understand why you seem to think it's only for the sewer project and not the Kirtland, the 100,000.
I seem-
I thought it was just to offset all three of them. To help offset all three of them was my remembrance of
That
this
was mine as well.
conversation.
Jack.
Was it?
Yes.
So maybe I have a
Yeah.
misunderstanding.
Yeah, I think it was just to help offset all three costs.
So that would mean that we can continue next
Yes.
year.
The
you
only
know?
reason I don't think that is because they're saying once that one's paid down, that they're talking about that they're paying toward, they're not allowed to give more because there is no more debt to pay.
I thought Scott said that
And-
they were paying, they could pay up to 150,000.
Right, yep,
And
that's
after
what they
this
wanna
year
bring
is
it to,
done,
yeah.
$100,000 was the maximum. I believe that's
Yeah, and
what the conversation
can't go-
was.
right.
Can't go any higher.
So I guess.
But that's for all the projects.
Yeah, during the budgeting process, though, we'll reach out to them and get clarity.
Yeah.
That's the place to do it. All right, and then I'm on page 2, at the very top, grants for municipalities of 104,000. I was asking, when do we receive that? The 104,136, and last year, we received it in June, so I would expect to receive it in June of this year. So I just wanted some clarity from Paula on that. Thank you, Paula. And then I'm flying through here, I don't have any other questions unless anyone else does. My next question was all the way on page 6, at the bottom, insurance and bonds. Our budget was 127,000, our actuals were 142,000. So our premium has gone up for insurance and bonds by $15,000. So that's probably something we need to look at as far as renegotiating it or getting quotes from other insurance companies or something. Who would be the right person to do that? Who normally would deal with the insurance?
I guess I would. It's funny, Karma is supposed to be for municipalities, formed for municipalities to have inexpensive insurance. Each year, you end up getting some kind of refund, not that that means anything, they try to keep costs low. I've never seen their full financials, I have no idea, yeah.
We did get a refund this year.
I looked back and you normally get something back.
I have
Do you think we'll get a
asterisk
refund now,
or two
we'll bring it back in budget?
No, I doubt in
No.
budget, no.
No. What did we get
No.
for a refund?
Honestly, it was between 5 and 8, I can't
I was
remember.
gonna say 6.
Okay, yeah.
But,
So we either have to renegotiate or budget more.
Yeah.
well, I can
yeah.
reach out to Kerma tomorrow. I have an email started to them for something else.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll circle back with us. Insurance over July. Okay. And then the next page, I had a question on when do we get charged by the resident trooper, because we haven't gotten charged anything yet, and the answer was we get the whole bill in June. So.
Right.
Could I just ask about those line items? Seems like the full-time officer is over, but the part-time are under, but the overtime is over.
So overtime for officer also includes when they do their work for, oh no, I take that back, that's in a different fund. Yeah. Nope, you're right, it's running over.
Is there-
I just wonder why we aren't using more part-time and not, because it would seem to me that the overtime is all to the full-time officer. Because part-time officers wouldn't be getting overtime.
Oh, overtime, full-time officer. I
So-
understand what you're saying. That's a good question.
So why wouldn't we be using more part-time officers and limiting the overtime for the full-time?
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
question.
We just have one of these, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the question is who directs the officers? Would it be the trooper?
Yep.
The trooper.
And we haven't had really a consistent trooper, right?
Well, we had a temporary one that the state gave us, so he was very good, and now we have a new trooper. So,
Did the new trooper start? Is he
Yes.
here? Yeah.
started like the week before, the 18th or the 19th of December, so just in time for everyone to be in and out for their holiday plans.
So is that something that we could talk to him about and maybe sort of
Absolutely.
limit the amount of overtime for full-time people?
Absolutely.
Or we're definitely gonna be over budget at the end of the year.
Trooper. Okay, we'll follow up next month on that one. Good question. Okay, then I'm all the way down to page 9.
I also, I'm not done there yet.
Oh.
Vehicle maintenance. We've almost spent almost 100% of the budget for vehicle maintenance for the,
That's correct. Before our resident trooper, who we had for quite a few years, left, he approved maintenance on a car, and it put us that high. We haven't done any maintenance, basically, since he left. We haven't needed to, you know.
because if we only have 2 troopers and we have, what, 4 or 5 cars?
We do seem to have extra cars now,
Yeah.
but we still have an ad for looking for a part-time, another part-time person.
I guess your question, Jackie, is maybe as part of the budget process, we might want to have our new trooper, when he makes his recommendation, reassess the need of the vehicles we have.
Right.
And if we may want to eliminate one, and maybe we could prepare him to bring those numbers in with whatever day he's coming in.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm not
say-
sure what the answer is, it's just,
Yeah.
we're running over budget
So-
and I'm just concerned.
So we're gonna speak to him on February 10th. His name is Richard.
Yes.
And I would say not, just in total, what his thoughts and plans are for the total budget.
Well, the selectmen are gonna meet with him next week, I believe, or whenever we can schedule that. So at this point, we haven't really, he's met with Paula about the budget generally, but I don't know what his experience is with budgeting for a department or anything, so we've gotta feel out how comfortable he is.
Or managing the other officers, his experiences in that.
Exactly. Well, he's very well respected, and the feedback has been very positive from residents as well, other police that live in town. He came from major crimes. I mean, he has a very good reputation in the state police, so.
And he's been down our street several times, which I thought was the first time I've ever seen a police car go by.
There's a rowdy down there.
Huh?
You're rowdy people down there.
Again, there's a lot of major crimes on River Road.
I'll do the Christmas party.
I was gonna say, I hope we never have to use his expertise in major crimes in this town.
But, you know, he sends reports every day of what's going on in town, and so the communication is already stellar compared to what we
Positive.
had. Yeah.
That's great.
That's
So,
good.
Yeah.
But just to back up, Jackie, I don't want to see any lines over.
Yeah, no.
But my comment here is, with the vehicle maintenance, it's so hard, whether it's the police, whether it's our DPW, whether it's the fire department. They're unforeseen things that
Oh, yeah,
you can't budget for them. And it's just something unfortunately, we have to take on the chin. I mean, last year when they had a major thing on the ladder truck. I mean,
No, I understand that, but I guess it was just to give you 4 cars and 2 officers. Could we not defer some maintenance or do something differently, was all. And
well, I think all the cars are
deferred maintenance now already?
on the last leg.
Okay, anything else? All right, I'm all the way down to page 9, if anyone has anything before that. If not, the other question I had was on Health District. We were charged $50,000, which is 96%. I asked Paul if there are any other charges expected. She said, no, there's no other charges expected, so we don't, I assume we're not gonna be over budget on that line item, based on that.
And Town Aid Road, was all the paving that was done? Is that what that is? That's at 95%?
Yeah, I have that one highlighted too. What's the difference between general road, highway, and town aid road?
Town aid road is actually funds we get from the state for improvements on the road.
Okay,
And
so that's matched by revenue up top here somewhere?
Yes, and we're actually going to be moving that into the capital fund.
Oh, here it is, town aid
That way it will just be
197.
spent as it needs be, and the funds can roll from year to year.
But it looks like we spent basically what we got, right? No, we got year-to-date 131 so far.
And we're actually getting more this year. Originally, it was budgeted for the same amount, but the governor back in September decided to give an extra 33%, so we're
Okay.
gonna be getting more.
Our salt and sand is already tough,
Okay. All right, then I move to page 11. I already got that answered earlier. That's the state Connecticut gas payment of $25,000. Is that just an annual payment or?
I'll have to look at that, I really don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, I have
yeah.
to look back in the records.
I didn't
and
ask you that one, so,
pull-
yeah.
Yeah, pull something. I was on with ADP while I'm answering you today,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
Why is that asking that?
Okay, then on page 12, I know you gave me the answer to this, the capital, I have that here. So I had a
Oh,
question
yes.
on transfer to capital, $387,000. So those are budget items that we're going to pay with our general account?
Yeah.
Okay. So those items we've already, like the dump truck, we've already purchased, paid for, and we're gonna transfer, or what?
No, what that means is, they planned in their budget to move this money from, take money from the general funds into the capital fund. And these were all the things that they were hoping to buy and pay for.
Okay.
And as you'll see, it also includes like the new fire trucks and everything that we're getting the loan for.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when we approve this 25, 26, I'm looking at a capital budget, and my question was, what was this 387,000 for? So we approved a capital budget, the town did, of a total of $2,589,000, which included the fire truck, the brush truck, the dump truck. And then we determined that we were going to borrow 2.2 million, which left 364,000 that the town would be using cash for. So now I understand. So we're going to transfer our cash. That'll show up as a year-to-date actual here. And it will,
Fund these projects.
Yeah. and we haven't needed to fund these yet. Did we already buy the dump truck?
They call them all different things. Sometimes they're called brush trucks, yeah, so when they, The payloader, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
just,
it
okay.
depends on, yeah, the name. and
Yeah, because
different-
I've never seen anything on dump truck yet, that kind of, all right, so that must be the payloader?
Yeah, which we already have.
Okay. All right, anybody else have any other questions on budget?
I had a question on the structure, wondering for the incubator park and buildings that we have.
Okay.
We're collecting rent from them, and then we have expenses, I assume, on the building that we own. Do we track that anywhere? And broader question is, should it be tracked anywhere so we can look to see how much comes in? Should it be reported here?
It's actually in a separate fund to be
Okay.
tracked separately. If you guys would like reporting on that, I can get
I
that.
missed it, reporting on what?
We have a incubator park. Last year, we sold 2 properties from it. We own a building that we get rent on. And we have leases from other businesses that pay us rent and pay us taxes. And I'm just wondering where we see that. And I didn't know, so it's not
It's
here.
not, nope,
It's not
It
like
is,
this rental, it's not
this-
this rental income here?
no.
At the bottom, the 108,000
So,
is rental income, just
Yeah.
not expenses.
yeah, part of it is in there, but the expenditures are in a different line, so I'll find those for you.
I'm just, at some point, I'd love to see,
Yeah,
just take a
if
look
you could
at
share
it.
that, so basically, the town generates income, but it doesn't show up here.
Part of it does, yes. I'll have to figure out what goes there and what goes in the incubator.
And what, the incubator fund, so that's a bank account,
It's a separate fund that runs on its own, yes.
but it should be visible.
What's on here is the rental
Yeah.
income.
But not expenses, just the income.
But the rental income is on Tom's report.
Right, the bottom line.
Yeah, but that, it's kind of, yeah, if it's revenue, it should show up here, no? Why wouldn't it
Okay.
show up here?
There are a lot of other funds that we have, and I should roll over those with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that, because
Okay.
in my mind, this is our books.
Okay.
And there shouldn't be, unless I'm missing something, everything should be like transparent and visible.
And I don't know if it would come out of this report. One other thing I'm wondering, we're in the middle of tax collection right now, but there were uncollected taxes, and when do we take a look at all of that, and what is our involvement as a Board of Finance, if any? And then a corollary question was, I understood we were going to be looking at a new collection agency or reviewing it, and I'm wondering where we are on that. I don't know if that's a question for you, if it's a
No.
question for you, Carol, or who it's a question for. And maybe an extension of that, might we want an update at some point from our tax collector.
We have Catherine scheduled for March 10th for the budget workshop. That would be a great time to dig into those kind of things, I think.
Okay.
Because that would end up, like any kind of delinquent taxes would end up being budgeted in our line, as a line item. So,
Okay, good.
I think it makes sense, yeah.
Right on the top, it shows up.
Yeah.
Tax and arrears.
Yeah, we're gonna have to budget it for next year, so that's
Yeah.
one of the line items she's responsible for. So,
Yeah, her collection rate is what, 97 or 98%?
Yeah, she's got a great,
It's very high.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that, it's more my question is, what are we doing and are we getting a new agency? I understood we were changing out agencies or looking for a new agency to do the collections
Oh,
of
that
the overdue.
side?
It's that side of it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the revenues look
I
good.
don't know about that. Okay.
And then,
So do it in March.
I would call it.
anything else from the team? I have one last question. I don't know if we could do it here or maybe later with you, Carol. I just don't I don't know what political subdivisions, we never get to that last page because we're 3 hours into a review.
It's like that's a kind of a catch-all for all the different things the town belongs to, like River Cog.
So for instance, Estuary Transit
Estuary,
District, is
yeah.
that the bus that drives around here?
Yeah.
And we contribute $12,000 to that, is that what that is?
Yes, it's our kind of contributions.
And then the Estuary Council Seniors, okay, so, and that's what we contribute, and then Tri-Town Youth, we contribute 40,000, got it. Public Service Agency,
With the Council of Municipalities, CCM, yeah.
what is that, Public Service Agency? Wait.
Public service agencies, I think that's where we put, you know, if conservation, like Water Commission will ask for a donation, Fish, I think, has asked for a donation in the past.
And also, isn't this where we hit for probate, like if we have to probate somebody, I believe it may have fallen in there. Pay the probate judge.
We had to do like a conservatorship or something, we had
Yeah,
some
that's
fees
what I
like
meant by
that.
probate.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
have everything that
Got
was
it.
on the email chain about, because I don't know, I think it was.
I understand that. And then the Fountain Hill, we contribute 35,000 a year to help that. Okay, that's all I have. Okay, and then other business, anybody have any other business? So it's time to adjourn, anyone have a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All ayes?
Aye.
Nay? We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.